Hello, I'm going to tell you a story. A story about a little animal. I'll draw him as I go along, and I'll tell you the story. Can you guess what he might be? There's his ears. Here's an eye. And there's another eye. And he's got a cute little nose. Yes. There's his little nose. And he's got whiskers. And a cute little smile, because he's very happy. Yes, he's a mouse. His name's Jeff. Jeff Mouse. And he's a field mouse. He lives in the fields, where he plays and runs around. Say hello, Jeff. There we are. Hello. He's waving. Being a field mouse, he's a sort of grey, browny colour. Lovely colour. Let's give him some colour. Would you like that, Jeff? There we are. That's lovely. And we'll give you some brown. That's gorgeous. Yes. Now, Jeff was very friendly, but there was a problem. You see, he was a very, very small mouse. He was smaller than the other mice. They were much bigger than him, and they used to make fun of him, which he didn't enjoy. Shall we give him a tail as well? Let's give him a little tail. There we are. There's his little tail. It's a pinky tail. Yeah, the other mice used to make fun of him and call him names, and he didn't like that. But I'll tell you the story, and we'll see what happened to Jeff Mouse. Now, our story began when Jeff was out in the field. He decided today he would pick some flowers. He had a lovely girlfriend called Jessica, you see, and he would go out. Let's give him some whiskers and a little smile. He would go out and pick roses. Yes, lovely roses for his girlfriend Jessica, which he very much enjoyed doing. Let's draw his ears. Lovely ears. And his little feet. Look, he's found a lot of lovely red roses. He was very happy. There they are. We'll colour them in. And we'll give Jeff some colour as well. There we are, Jeff. Proper field mouse colour. And don't forget his little pinky tail. There it is. Now, what happened was this. Bob came along. Bob was a big, angry mouse. I mean, he had a cute nose and whiskers and lovely ears and everything, like this, you see. But he was an angry mouse, yes. And he said, "Oi, Shorty, Shorty, what are you doing?" "I'm picking flowers for Jessica. Go away, Bob, I'm not interested in you." "Ha ha ha, Shorty, picking flowers, ha ha ha." "Oh, go away, Bob, I'm doing something," said Jeff. Then Bill turned up as well. That was Bob's friend, was Bill. He was a mouse, of course, but he again was bigger than Jeff. And he was an angry mouse as well. "Hey, Titch, what are you doing, Titch?" he said. "Go away, Bill. I'm picking some flowers. I'm doing something. Don't disturb me." Jeff walked off. Now, they've been doing this, Bob and Bill, calling Jeff names for a long time. And Jeff didn't really know what to do at this point. He sat down and he began to think. He was quite annoyed. "I've had enough of this. I've got to do something about it," he said. "Every day they call me names. I try to ignore them. What shall I do?" He began to think. There must be something I can do. He thought and he thought and he thought. Then suddenly, ping! He had an idea. You see, Jeff always wanted to be strong and courageous. Yes, and very confident. And his idea would do that for him. This is what he did. Can you guess what his idea was? Well, I'll show you. Jeff went into the forest and around the fields, and he started to collect things. He collected up wood, he collected up some twigs, and he collected up some toadstools. Yes. Then what he did, well, I'll show you. Look, he got the twig and he connected it to 2 large toadstools either end. Yes. he put the toadstools in water to make them heavier than normal. And he began to make himself strong. He began training. Yes. He was a tough mouse. Yes. And every day, let's colour in those toadstools. Here we are. Every day he'd go into the forest and he'd get his equipment that he'd made and he'd begin training. Because Bob had decided he would be the strongest mouse in the world. Yes. And when he was the strongest mouse in the world, nobody would call him names. Nobody. Yes. So he trained and he trained and he trained and he became stronger and stronger and stronger. And soon the animals were saying, Jeff is really strong. He could be the strongest mouse in the world. Now one thing happened though. Even when he was training, Bob would go by. There's angry Bob the mouse. He'd go, you're all right, shorty. You training, are you? This still was annoying to Jeff. But he didn't mind. He felt confident and strong now. So, the next thing that happened was this. It was very interesting. Bob was at home. It was breakfast time. Jessica had come over. There's Jessica in the background with her ears. Jeff said, Jessica, would you like some eggs? I'm going to fry some eggs. Here he is. And here's the frying pan he used. I'll show you. He was very good at cooking eggs, was Jeff. There they are. And there's the cooker. Yes, please, I'd love some eggs, said Jessica. Fabulous, said Jeff. Also, he had some lovely bread, which he was toasting. It was ready and popped out. Ting, ting. That's the toaster. Yes, lovely eggs were being made. And it was a lovely morning. It was bright and sunny. And breakfast was nearly ready. Then suddenly, the door opened. Spang! It was Bob. But he wasn't angry. He looked really worried. Jeff, he said, Jeff, he put his hands in the air. Jeff, you've got to come quickly. There's an emergency. You must help. I'm really sorry about calling you names and everything, but please, can you help? What do you think Jeff did? Remember, Bob had always called him names. Well, Jeff turned round and said, Of course. Follow me then, please, Jeff. Bob ran out of the house as fast as he could. Jeff followed him. Soon they arrived at Bill's house, and what they saw, they couldn't believe. Bill's house was covered in big, heavy rocks. Look, my goodness, there's Bill's house with rocks all over it. What are we going to do, said Bob. He's stuck inside. All these rocks have fallen on top, and they're too heavy for us. We can't move them. Oh, Jeff, are you strong enough to get them off? Can you remove the rocks and save Bill? Oh, please, said Bob. He was very upset. Jeff went into action immediately. He ran over to the rocks and he stretched out his hands. And with all of his might, he began to lift the first rock. Yes. He grabbed the rock and moved it aside. It was very, very heavy. I'll show you, look. You see, if that's Bob's hands, if that's Jeff's hands, look at the size of this rock. Yes, and there's Jeff. He was very, very strong. He lifted up the rock and he threw it to the side. There's his lovely tail. And one by one, he removed all of the rocks until out came Bill. Hooray, I'm saved! Hooray! He held up his hands. Hooray, hooray, I'm saved! I didn't know what I was going to... Oh, my God, he said. He said, who saved me? Who saved me? And as he looked down, there was little Jeff. Oh, Jeff, you've saved me. I've called you names, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Both Bill and Bob apologized to Jeff and thanked him because he'd saved them. All the animals gathered around and they had a party. They had cheesecake, because mice like cheesecake, of course. That's some cheesecake. Yes, delicious. Yes. And they had snacks, and they danced, and they played music. And soon everybody agreed that Jeff was the strongest mouse in the world, and he'd done a wonderful, heroic deed. He was truly a hero. So the animals got together, and they built a statue of Jeff and put it in the field to remind everybody how brave and heroic he was. Here's the statue that they built. There's Jeff and his lovely ears, and don't forget his tail. And on the statue they wrote, Jeff Mouse, hero. Yes. So remember, if little Jeff can do it and help his friends, even when they've been rude, anybody can do it. You can do it. Jeff's a hero. And that's the story of Jeff the Mouse. He did really well. We love you, Jeff. You're the best. Thank you for listening to the story. That's the end now. Goodbye.